Audiobooks are super convenient when we want to read more books in less time. But when it comes to audiobooks, the quality of narration matters a lot. Because if the narrator is not good enough, then the listener is probably not going to have a good time with that book. Right? I recently came across the audio version of The Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which was narrated by the author herself. And needless to say, just like the title and the book cover, Elizabeth Gilbert's narration was so beautiful, or I would even say magical. But before we get into today's video, I would like to add a few opinions of mine regarding audiobooks. So I was not this person who used to enjoy audiobooks a lot earlier, but recently, after a lot of trial and error, I came to a conclusion that audiobooks that are narrated by the authors themselves turn out to be good audiobooks. You might have a different opinion on this, but this is something that I felt. I think that it will add to the originality of the book, and somewhere I also have a feeling that authors can have much more enthusiasm while narrating their own books than somebody else. I totally understand that not every author might turn out to be a good narrator, but if there is a person who is a good writer plus a good narrator, that might definitely end up in a good audiobook. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to have a discussion on this because I'm still learning how to choose my audiobooks. So if you have any idea about it, let me know in the comment section. Now let's talk about Big Magic. The Big Magic is all about how to live a creative life. Now, if you type Elizabeth Gilbert on YouTube, you will find a lot of videos where she talks about creativity. In this book, she shares her wisdom and her unique understanding about creativity. I have talked about a similar book on my channel earlier, which is Art Matters by Neil Gaiman, where Neil Gaiman tells us about the importance of creating art no matter what. Elizabeth Gilbert also tells us more or less the same things, but she goes a little beyond creation. She talks about different aspects of creativity. She shares different stories from her life as well as from her friends' lives. Now, I totally enjoyed listening to this book. This book was around 5 to 6 hours. So I used to listen to this every morning, 1 hour every morning, and it took me around 4 to 5 days to finish this book. Obviously, I liked this book so much, so I do not want to do a review kind of video. So I will share with you a few takeaways that I took from the book. If you are a creative person, this book might probably strengthen your relationship with creativity. Here the author shares her experience of being a writer and the challenges that came her way when she was pursuing her creative career. The important thing the author tells us here is, never ever look down at a 9 to 5 job if it is giving you financial freedom. Now, the author herself was doing a 9 to 5 job until she was very sure that writing could give her a good amount of money. And the second point the author shares with us is, if you have an urge to create something, go for it. Do not take permission from anyone whether you should create it or not. So here the point is, do not discuss ideas with people who might probably not understand it in the first place. So instead, create it and then show it to the world. Now, if you keep working on something to make it super perfect, then you are probably not going to finish your work anytime soon. So here the author tells us that it's okay if something goes wrong. It's totally fine if your work is a little less perfect. If it is decent enough, take it to the next process. You can cover up your mistakes in the next process as well. Now, of course, the author is referring to the writing process here, but this definitely applies to other things as well. Here the point is, just not get stuck in one place trying to make things perfect. Because anyhow, at the end of the day, things are never going to be perfect, right? Well, this was my favorite part in this book. In fact, we all have this feeling that we need to create something that might help people in some way or the other, right? This is a good thought, by the way, but Elizabeth Gilbert gives a whole different perspective to this thought process by saying that if you want to create something, create it. Do not create it with a feeling that you are helping the entire world by creating it. Because if you don't create it, somebody else will create it. And whatever you create, people will forget it in a few days. So do things for your own creative satisfaction. If it is helping someone, it is great. Else, let it be. Just put your work out in this world and your part is done. Now, I can keep on talking about this book forever. This book has a lot of things for discussion, but of course I don't want to stretch this video too long. So I would highly encourage you to read this book. In fact, this book will definitely help you to try doing things that you are passionate about. And if you ask me who should read this book, of course I would say everyone should read this book. But if not everyone, at least people who have an urge to create something, or those who are already working in a creative field and lacking some kind of motivation, should definitely pick this book up. And if you're going for an audio version, make sure that you pick an audiobook which is narrated by the author Elizabeth Gilbert herself. If you want to purchase this book, I will leave the link in the description box below. And before you go, if you like my videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit on that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. See you in my next video. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.